this little old town, even getting around, knocking on every man's door. Word on the streets that you've been cheating on me. You ain't worth the time anymore. So bad, you're so sad. You turn around and you do it again. How many lies, how many times, how many tears must I cry? How many days and how many ways, how many men can you break? Oh baby, how many men can you break?
All right, gents. Welcome. Timmy Kramer, Brian Tucker, Xmas, Single Town Bachelor, all the way from across the world, building his enclave. Good to see you, brother. In Denmark. Good to see everybody. RB back in the house from Washington, rainy Washington, the Pacific Northwest. BJ Fornash making an appearance. Alpha widows, guys. Every single woman is an alpha widow. She could have been alpha widowed in middle school. You could have been the guy that alpha widowed her, but every woman is an alpha widow. We all know the saying, they go out with the bad boy and they marry the nice guy. Okay, there's movies, there's books written about it. Netflix has a great series called Sex Life about a woman who dates the bad boy and marries the rich, nice guy, only to want to be back in the presence of the bad boy who she is emotionally and mentally and physically bonded to in lots of ways. Could have been her first. She could have been attracted to him. I know for a fact my ex-wife was an alpha widow. She dated a guy, bad boy, whatever, and married me to settle down and have kids. I thought she was marrying me because, maybe we were in love. But I know now that she is too an alpha widow. I don't fault her for that. My first real girlfriend in 10th grade, she was a 12th grader. She was a senior. She ghosted me back in 1987 or 88 at the time. She always talked about her boyfriend, Chip. Chip was older, a couple years older, rode a motorcycle, was a lumberjack, hung out at the bars, long hair, loved to rock out. She was an alpha widow too. Most of these women follow the same order. Bad boy, mystery, the archetype, the guy that's got a bow and arrow, slays dragons. And then they settle for the nice guy because they know the bad boy, the alpha man, ain't doing shit to marry him. Alucard in the chat, good to see you. And wet panties, there you go. The Plantation Mac, good to see you in the house. Hope all is well. As they say, Single Town Bachelor says she is in business. Now, why is that important? How to spot them? Well, they're easy to spot. They talk about the ex. They talk about the times that they have a particular type. One of my really good friends, they're not intimate. They've been not intimate for several years as a married couple. They have a sexless marriage. He still loves her. He still is a nice guy. But she is in love with the band, that one of his favorite bands. She's in love with the lead singer. She goes with him to the concert. She's in love with the guy. Probably reminds her of her first boy toy, boyfriend, bad boy that she was in love with. Right? But it happens. John Boston, we were just thinking about you, brother. Where you been? Saw Triumph in April Wine Saturday. Ooh, Triumph, old school, love it. I was just thinking about it. Someone was asking, I'm like, I need to send John a message because I have not heard from him. Hope you are well, brother. All is good. Did you see Rush with the new chick drummer that is now touring? Don't know what I think about that, but I've seen a couple videos. Gerald, good to see you, brother. Mr. One Mighty in New York, good to see you as well. Nosferatu, the band is the Charlatans that she's in love with. The Tim Burgess with the long hair is the lead singer, and she is and Metallica. She loves Metallica, and he hates Metallica. There's something about some sort of long hair rock and roll type that she is an alpha widow to, and she loves that. Her main music genre is country. Garth Brooks, Reba McEntire, you know, all those, but she loves those two bands. Interesting, huh? Interesting how that works. But it's okay. Every woman you meet is going to be an alpha widow or a fictitious alpha widow. She might have read a book, Gone with the Wind, Cary Grant or something. And she's in love with that type of man, that archetype. 45 ladies and you're done, says Singletown. Attaboy. Wolf in the chat, smashing his upstairs neighbor. Good to see you. Rush got tickets for the September show in Boston. You're going to have to let me know how that goes. I think they're still going to play good. The chick looks like an amazing drummer, but 66% of Rush is there. My ex was alpha widow to her high school math teacher boyfriend. Then after divorce, 30 years later, she went back to him and he rejected her. Great segue, RB. An alpha widow is rejected by the man that she's wants to tame, and the mysterious man. There's books written about this. There's movies. 50 Shades of Grey is a perfect example of an alpha widow. But they're everywhere. The Notebook. I had to watch The Notebook when it came out. That love story, and then they die later in life. It's got a young Ryan Gosling and I don't know, Scarlett Johansson. I can't remember, but alpha widow as well. Blue Valentine. Blue Valentine is a book, is a movie. Go watch it. Ryan Gosling and the chick that was Heath Ledger's ex. It is a total story of an alpha widow. Ryan Gosling is the cleanup guy, but she's still in love with the original dude. You want to see a movie about that? Highly recommend Blue Valentine. It's dark. The guy takes on a single mother, but she's still in love with the alpha. Attaboy, Crazy Horse, Freebird. Although AC, who did Freebird? Leonard Skinner. I know this woman who was married and is going to Youngblood and says that her boyfriend, that's her boyfriend. There you go. I don't understand the Youngblood thing. Don't understand it. Everyone's doing collabs with him. I mean, he seems like he's got an edgy character, but I can't get into his tunes. But makes sense, John. Makes sense. That 59-year-old gash, drinking wine, eating pastries, playing with their cats, whatever. Let them be, right? Again, 59-year-old woman still in love with an archetype of somebody in her past that alpha widowed her. Women are more aggressive with smiles my way lately, horny time and trapping time. Just be careful. Glove up, my man. The Bridges of Madison County isn't yet 100% Torgo. Good to see you. Tell me where you're from. Ooh, is that Mr. Spock? Yes, Spock. We are. And used to do James Kirk. We are entering Enterprise space, Spock. Probably sound like a retard, but it's a great little handle if I can see it. You look like Spock, but my eyes are bad. But appreciate that. Bridges of Madison County. Well said. It wasn't Clint Eastwood in that. It's a young man. If a young man realizes most women are batshit crazy, he would have a better chance at life. 100%. Timmy Kramer. Learning from Uncle Bill at 18. Don't get married. Down in Arizona. The same 59-year-old woman used to say Pete Townsend was her boyfriend. Again, same operating system, same scenario. They want the bad boy. Maybe she was making out to the Who back in the late 70s, early 80s, and he reminds her of that dude. The good riddance to Vikram Digwa and Carmelo blank, two blank, occupying people on skin. I just saw news came out, brother. I don't know yet what happened. Brandon Trueblood in the chat. Good to see you, Brandon. Hope you are well. Check out his channel and Singletowns as well. Just picked up some translucent Adidas skate shoes. All I ride are Adidas. Fans are too thin for me. Titanic is basically an alpha widow. Rose still fondly remembers her brief fling, almost a cent. Yeah, well said. Well said. No wonder so many women love. No wonder that made $1 billion. I think that was the first film to make $1 billion in such a short time. You've been working on a renovation. There you go. I was hoping that I was going to literally send you an email this week to make sure you were good. Heading for the beaches of San Diego, West Virginia next week. It's time there, boy. But here's the deal. Let's say you get into a relationship. Let's say 10 years later, you're like, you know what? I know all this stuff. I can hold frame. I can do it. A lot of guys have gone back and they've realized that they're still not the alpha that woman wants. Even later in life, there's still that man. There's still that boy in high school, that bad boy that drove a Camaro or a Firebird, or heavens, if it's fortunate, a Chevelle, maybe a Mach 1, or rode a motorcycle. Crashed it 5 times, had 6 scars with a leather jacket, long hair, and listened to Metallica and Blue Oyster Cult. You're never going to be on her level. She's always going to. That is why there's so much hate against men these days, because most of these boyfriends and husbands, and I was part of it, are not the alphas that they are widowed to. And so if we think about that, what chance do you have if she's an alpha widow to ever be happy, to make her happy, to make her even respect you? Do you see where this is probably the biggest. I learned alpha widow learning this space. I had an idea what they were, but I had no idea how impactful an alpha widow is to any sort of relationship. Even marriages break apart because that woman is probably texting or Facebooking the guy that was her alpha back in the day. I'm an alpha widow. I'm an alpha to 4 or 5 chicks that I know. One never got married. She had sent me a message a few months ago saying she wanted to meet up again. But I don't meet up with her. I rejected her. She's an alpha widow. I don't listen to what women say. They are the McRib and nonsensical. Oh, Andrew Tate, Bugatti. Bugatti. You want a maintenance bill? Go buy a supercar. Wolf King, the last time I had a McRib, I ate 3. No shame. Attaboy. Watch out for the blank Savage on Coronado Island. Ooh, there you go. I don't think he goes that far to Coronado. Timmy always gets to the campground close. I haven't seen the McRib lately, or the McFish. Rad, you're a well-adjusted surfer, brah. I'm a skater. I've tried surfing. Maybe I'll try it in Mexico. Who knows? Rad, what's an alpha widow? A Chad chaser who lost her Chad, basically. It's a girl that's in love with that first guy that was a bad boy, and he rejected her. Look it up on Google as a definition. And she still thinks about him. Nobody can compare to him. Classic. It's Fonzie. It's not Richie. They trade in Fonzie. Well, once they get rejected, then they go after Richie. I don't want to be hurt anymore. I don't want jerks. So they get with Richie, and then they don't like him, and then they cheat on him with the bad boy. You see, you can never win. And if men truly understood where they stand in a woman's literally world, you will realize that she is 99 99% of women are alpha widows. There is a man in her world. Most of them are real. There is a percentage that are fictitious, where no man will ever measure up. So why would you try to make a woman like you when she is only settling for you? right? Sewage. Oh yeah, there you go. I heard down there's a lot of that crap literal going on. You'd surf, but you're a little heavy. It's all right. I see some big guys riding. I occasionally hit Coronado, love golfing, mostly hang out and win and with his Pacifico and wonderful grilled veggies and meat. That's what Timmy does, and people watches. I'd rather be airdropped with the all-terrain tactical enforcer at 10,000 feet than date women these days. Would you rather climb Mount Everest knowing that you could die, you have a 50% chance of making it out alive, or get back in a relationship with a woman that's a billionaire? Think about this very, very carefully. Would you get with a billionaire, and if she dies, you get no money? You're just going to be taken care of as long as she lives. Live in a nice house, drive a nice car, go on cool vacations, but when she dies, you get no money. Would you do that or climb Everest? I'm going to climb Everest. I'll tell you why. You still have 50% chance of dying with that woman. However, you're not going to have any nagging or uncomfortable silence, weirdo, walking on eggshell moments. Mental health is more important than physical wealth. There's some good-looking surfing women out there, that's for sure. That's my style. I like more natural women, surfer types, nice tan ladies. When I worked at Warehouse back in the day, I looked like Tom Wilson. Biff Tannen, attaboy. Attaboy. But that's the reality, guys. If you really understand what an alpha widow is, you'll understand why relationships don't work. Now, the operating system is part of that, the female operating system. The male operating system is our operating system. We want to go in and show them that we can be better than the alpha male. We're nicer. We're better. We're more of a provider and protector. That's okay. But guess where? Their psyche, their memories are not with you. They're with that guy. No, you're probably giving it to her starfish style, and she's thinking about that guy back in 9th grade who was giving her the old man on the boat treatment. Yeah, Scotty was telling me that. He'd sent me a message about that. I've been to Bryce multiple times. It's only 4 hours from here. I'll never turn down a trip to Bryce. Are you kidding me? April, might be a little snow then, depending on the weather. Sometimes we'll get a nice snow. But if it's the spring, it'll be nice. 50 degrees in the canyon with sun. Perfect. I've walked every trail there. Love it. One of my favorite places, by the way, Bryce Canyon. Look it up. Donna Pascal as Annette in the 1977 movie Saturday Night Fever was alpha widowed by Tony. John, remember that. Saturday Night Fever. That's going old school, RB. John Travolta. There you go. E says no Everest. You only had 2 options, E. You're going to go with the billionaire woman. All right, that's all right. A lot of guys would. I just look at physical stress now as the case. I was talking to a real good friend of mine. He's like, man, Rad, all of us, we look like, you look, you don't look you don't look our ages. I said, well, I'm not married. And so if I'm not married, I just lost about 20 years of stress in like 3 years of not being married. So stress and peace, quiet, and freedom are your literally superpowers. Once you realize what a male is and what a female is and how the animal kingdom interacts. I wonder if that, the worker drone bee that screws the queen bee and then dies right away, I wonder if they know that. I wonder if some bees are like, hell no, I'm not even getting close to the queen. Or maybe it's like a badge of honor if they do the queen and then they die. Like, I'm going to nail the queen this time, beat it, So, I'll do Everest. Okay, attaboy. Grease 2 with Prime Michelle. Oh, she was hot. Gone with John in the chat. Good to see our buddy John, pressure washing Alabama, all over the place. Putting out some good vids lately. Like the fishing vids. Every time John's out in nature, it reminds me I got to get in nature. I did hike today. hiked up the canyon. Nice hike on had a nice hike on Sunday. Worked out this morning. Gotta move, guys. You don't move, and if you do not move your body, you'll deplete yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically, and spiritually. I got buddies that sit around all day and they don't move and they're miserable. They have terrible health. Just move. Just fucking walk. Take a road trip. Get off at some monument and go walk around for a half a mile. You'll feel better. Mars, good to see you. Is that love that I'm feeling? Little Foreigner. How about Foreigner? All you old farts will understand this. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. What a simp. I want to know. It's a great song, but think about the lyrics. I want you to show me. I want to feel what love is. I laugh every time I hear it. Brandon says no Everest and no wife. There's only two options, brother. You just won't be in that bucket of people with those options. Yeah, John's putting out some good stuff. Love the summers after Midwest soul-crushing winters. You know, the older I get, I mean, I love snow, but now at my age, I'm getting tired of all the snow. But, you know, give me a week of snow, I'll be happy. But I'm choosing more of less winter clothing. Right? Big Vegas in the house. Good to see you. What's up with you, brother? Big Vegas has been around for a while, too. Yeah, John's been growing good. He's probably one between you and Hammer from legit guys in our space, probably the two largest creators that's been around for a while, which we want to see more creators. As I've always said, every man needs to tell a story, whether it's in the chat, whether it's in the comments or getting a channel. There's nothing wrong with that. Trog in the chat. Good to see you, brother. Well, if my damn computer will work here. There we go. Yeah, his sling videos are cool too. That looks like an old school art form from the Romans. Maybe it's even further than that. Dirty White Boy, Foreigner. Did you know that Foreigner for a long time had no original members playing in that band? What's his name? Mick? John Boston will know. The dude that sings. Can't remember his name. No wife. I'd rather be air dropped. Hell driver style. That a boy. I don't think you're alone, Alucard. Yeah, she talks about her ex and she compares you to her ex and she's never gotten over her ex. That's basically it. She will compare you. When you're on top of her and she's starfish, she's thinking about him, not you. She's thinking about him, where he's at, what he's doing. The mystery still remains. Basically, this is how women's brains work for the most part. They have to close the loop. If you leave a woman, if you no contact a woman, she has to close it. Her emotions will get the best of her. So she's wondering what's going on. And so she's going to compare every man towards that guy. Okay. Each man has his own story to tell. Well said. And we got a lot of guys here. John, Trueblood, Singletown, all making videos. Came a long way from the Heartbreak Hotel and don't ever plan to visit again. I'm good on that. You look younger. Thanks, brother. Lou Graham, that's his name? Okay, Lou Graham. I was thinking Mick. Yeah, basically, once you come out, you know what? And people say, well, if there was a time machine, I would probably get back in it. But I had to have gone through what I went through, kids, divorce, marriage, so I could grow. I have now realized that all of that, even though it sucked, and most people can suck raising kids during a divorce or suck going through it, and the anxiety, it had to have happened. 80s roller ring, attaboy, Wolf. I heard through the grapevine that Tom Brady is sponsoring a new drink called Good Nut, and it'll come with 3 different flavors. You never know. Yep, Singletown's a good dude. I like his Tinder is a cesspool series. You got to tell your stories. Mick Jones, there you go. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I wasn't too off. I never was a big fan of Foreigner. Roller rinks were where all the freaking long hairs were, right? Think about this. Let's talk about celebrities and athletes. Do you think they're alpha widows? Do you think Tom Brady, Giselle, you know she's an alpha widow. She had some Brazilian bad boy model back in Brazil whenever she grew up that friggin' broke her cherry. All she does is, and she gets with a rich, well-known, let's just be real. Tom Brady doesn't seem like he has a huge personality. He's pretty even kill. Probably more of a nice guy than anything. And she made more. She's worth more than Tom Brady. Apparently she's worth $1 billion. But she has an alpha widow. She's an alpha widow. Why do you think she got with her personal trainer? Probably reminded her of her alpha widow. Again, alpha widowed, marries Tom Brady, goes back to being looking for bad boy. Celebrities do it. Athletes do it. Athletes, most of these athletes are left for other athletes. Life must prune the tree to grow stronger branches. Well said, John. Well said. And we've all been there. This generation of women want to be the leader of the house. Bible clearly says the man is the head and the woman is the tail. Well said, Dark USA. Good to see you in the chat. For some of us, telling our story also means retaining a lawyer for the backlash. Yep. I mean, you can tell yourself with muzzled, an avatar or whatever. But I could care less. This is free speech. I don't ever mention her name or the names of my children or where it happened. So it could be anyone. Old school arcades would be fun. I was just talking about that the other, getting 5 tokens for $1. He does 10 of 10 of everything but a personality. If he can't do it, it's an unwinnable game. Well said. Brad Pitt. Who do you think Angelina Jolie's alpha is? Would it be Billy Bob? You know she was getting nailed at 13 by 30-year-olds, 14. She's in the Hollywood industry at that point. Maybe it was Lorenzo Lamas. I told my colleagues that nerds and jocks are two sides of the same coin because they don't understand female nature. Well said. I'm a Pats fan since 85, but I always found Brady to be a dork. He just doesn't seem like he has a lot of energy to him. He's the type that buys a yacht and sits out there and chills out. But when he's, like Trogue said, he's 10 on 10 in business and throwing a football and, building his brand. But when it comes to personality, he's probably boring as fuck. So is Steve Young. Steve Young is a boring dude. I met the guy. I met Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning doesn't have really a personality either. Sit down pong at Pizza Hut. Speaking of Pizza Hut, you know that they're coming back with the original Pizza Hut style, the old school Pizza Hut lamps, red glasses. I'm stoked about that. Buffet. Yeah, if we're not, to Smithereens, maybe we'll go there. We can go down there in Bryce Canyon. I don't care anymore either, Singletown. Angelina carried a vial of Billy Bob's blood. He's the one. She's blank. So, yep. It's probably Billy Bob. But you never know. I think she was married before that to some unknown actor. She sure did, Plantation Mac. She sure did. She's what's called unable to pair bond and has microchimerism that's off the Richter scale. Brad and Tom would be good friends. There you go. Life wasn't corporate like it is now. It was more social and natural. Think about the 80s. You hung out at the locker in high school and junior high. You hung around the skate ramp. You hung out at McDonald's, Shakey's Pizza at night after the football game. Everybody talked. Very few people were invisible or didn't talk. Different fucking world. Technology, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, the Walkman. CDs came out in high school. My brother got his first CD was Europe and then 5150 by Van Halen. The Sperm Man, Spearman, good to see you, brother. The truth hurts, give them nothing. She has what we call CSLs, blank sucking lips. Throat goat for real. All right. I remember everyone went to the old Pizza Hut parlor restaurants, business dudes. Yeah. Those are the days, man. Now everyone DoorDashes. Nobody wants to be around people. What a world we live in. The submissive ideal woman is a lost unicorn. Well said. Thank God I don't desire a female companion. I woke up from my simp stupidity years ago. If anything, men need to understand the knowledge of female nature, male nature, alpha widows, hypergamy, all of the things that drives us. We are nothing more than a biological species. Brad, when I was at the Triumph show, I ran into several chicks I knew from way back who were always going to concerts, over 55 and still dressing like it's the 80s. Was there cleavage hanging like wet tube socks? Or do they have fake boobies? 85. That's it. I think that's when 5150 came out, or 86. Voight left Angelina's mom when she was an infant. Oh, for real. I bet her mom was a crazy fucker too. The CSLs make an appearance in Wolf's life. You know, people are tired. You're seeing a backlash of the Skittles movement now. You're seeing people saying, you know, they're putting down a lot of stuff. Now, we use technology to get this message out. YouTube is a form of social media. I'm interacting with social people on comments or whatnot. But there's only so much content you can watch. And you don't want to watch Red Pill all day either. Just, if anything, take your red pill daily and get out and do shit. I do. And colored roach clips. I do. Spearman says, I know some older women like that. Truly sad to see how much alcohol. I met a couple gals this weekend. I was helping a friend of mine do some painting. Couple gals come over, early 60s. And he said, these are the hottest chicks in high school. Now, total smokers, total alcoholics. I'm like, I can't see that. He goes, oh, dude, they were the hottest chicks. Everybody wanted them. Well, that's exactly what, you know, delusion takes over. And all these women getting tattoos now and living that life, these 25-year-olds are looking like 35-year-olds. You're gonna be able to make a pair of boots out of their skin with all that leather. Yeah, Voight was an interesting guy. If you go back and watch his first film, I think it was Midnight Cowboy. Was it with Dustin Hoffman? That actually got an X rating. It's an R-rated film. I don't know why they put it, but it was back in the 60s. Midnight Cowboy. John's in Mass, and these Skittles and climate nut jobs shut down a street, and FD shoved them off. There you go. It's you know what it is? It's victim culture. That's all these whacked out people want. Victim cultures. They want to be recognized for being victims of the system or the patriarchy. Heavy metal parking lot chicks. A lot of them are, man. A lot of them still, like John says, still living in the 80s with cleavage. Putting on their Spanx to hide their stretch marks and their flaky skin. They do look like Large Marge. Those chicks who are the hottest in high school are forever single women thinking they are 22. Yeah. I mean, their voices sound masculine because they smoked for the last 43 years. And they've had more friggin' they've been banana gobbling for years. Waited Pizza Hut tables at 18 and women used to pinch my ace. There you back in the day, yo. Back in the day. Different world back then. I want to go see Iron Maiden. Ooh, Iron Maiden and the old ladies. What about seeing Tesla with all the old ladies? They love the love song by Tesla. Deliverance was great. One of my favorite movies. I like it in the end when he's hunting that dude and he falls off the waterfall. That came out in 1972. That was the year I was born. 72 had Jeremiah Johnson, Deliverance, The Godfather. Great year for movies. Scotty Side's band has an Iron Maiden like style to it, and he's going on tour. He's a good drummer. Great song, man. You know, Bruce Dickinson, the lead singer of Iron Maiden, became a airline pilot for the airlines. I think he flew for like what's WestJet Canada or maybe whatever the Canadian Airlines is. Literally got a job flying, and he flies the band around. What talks about, yeah, he's a rock star, but that's, you know, he's got 2 careers. Yeah, heavy metal is great. There's some great bands coming out right now. They're bringing back that old 70s and 80s rock that are American. Look like the band The Feel, Feel, great band. Check them out. Interesting. That he's direct, isn't he, Mars? I don't know if I'd be doing that. I was playing the Trooper on my bass. Dang, have not played that in 30 years. Need 3 fingers for that fast playing. Speaking of playing the bass fast, I was watching an interview with Flea from the Chili Peppers, and he's like, I can't play the early stuff. It's just too fast for me now. Yes, Rob Dickinson. And Rob Dickinson now owns, I love the Catherine Wheel. Got all their stuff. Rob Dickinson owns a Porsche restoration company that's pretty dope. They take these old 911s, I think from the 80s, and completely mod them out and sell them for $1 million. Just look up Rob Dickinson Porsche. All these used up grannies that were hot going to OF, Denise Ridger's chick from Sopranos. Porn has a subgenre called GILFs. Go figure. Women, grannies are getting into the sex business. The delusion does not stop. The delusion continually flows downhill. I saw the Doobie Brothers final tour at Red Rocks. Ooh, Michael McDonald. He's got some synth music, but the Doobie Brothers were dope. Reeling in the Years. Great song. Slap Jack, do it again. That was a great song. I remember listening to that growing up. I think every chick I went out with in the late 90s were glam metal 304s. They had the TNA, the cleavage. Back then, man, they knew exactly how to dress. In fact, I was in Nashville a few weeks ago for work, and I, you know, the girls, most of the women then they're very attractive women, right? A lot of them are young, 20 to 40. They're wearing the cowboy boots, the sundresses with the cowboy hats, the Daisy Duke shorts with the Marianne top from Gilligan's Island. But yeah, the old heavy metal chicks, man, they could care less how much. I remember going to Guns N' Roses with a really great gal, and she looked great. She had huge nugs and was wearing a rock and roll t-shirt. And that was good times. No shame in her game. Studded bracelets, attaboy. Eyeliner. Oh, and they loved pulling that shirt down because they knew they could get men. Most of my family called the girls I was with prawn stars or strippers. Yeah. I feel like women back then knew about men and, you know, testosterone and our desire to get with them, and they were okay with it. And now today it's like, oh, you're a creep, you pervert. I'm going to call, you know, 3 digits on my phone because I feel like I'm being abused. I used to make an ex laugh her ass off by imitating Michael McDonald's singing voice. Attaboy. Those were the days, man. Those were the days. My mom loved country, and she'd listen to Coca-Cola Cowboy and Rhinestone Cowboy and Charlie Daniels and Dwight Yoakam. Who else? Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard. Every now and again, she'd put on like soft yacht music. We call it yacht music. Michael McDonald, Doobie Brothers, you know, Burt Bacharach. But that's reality. How many of those alpha widows are running around at the Rush concerts? It was the style nowadays. Chicks literally go to the gym in bra and panty. Oh yeah, I was there today. I have seen women in bras. They're not sports bras, or sports tops. They're bras. They're literally bras in the hot tub. He looked at me. He's a creep. I feel abused. But in the 80s and early 90s, women loved the attention. You could slap them on the ass. They wouldn't do anything. They would love it. And now, you touch me, I'm suing. Simps are alpha widowered every day. Attaboy. When is the stock market going to crash? Who knows? It keeps going up. Oil, I put 91 in my Forerunner. I don't know if you do that, Timmy, but it's down 35 cents since it was like 2.5 weeks ago. What the fuck's going on? Is there a war? Is the strait closed? The camel toe, attaboy. That dude who sang Sailing, Christopher Cross, bro. Sailing, nothing more than feelings. Rush are a great band for Canadian. Yeah, who else came out of Rush? Mouth, good to see you, brother. Rush who else came out of Canada? You got the Grapes of Wrath that are pretty big. What's the other band I'm thinking of that's really big? You got a bunch of really good bands there. A lot of alternative bands come out of Canada. Yeah, isn't Neil Young Canadian? He's good, but he's a wacko. I think Neil Young's Canadian, but I could be wrong. Justin Bieber's Canadian. Think about Bieber, man. That dude has been... Feel sorry for him and Britney Spears. They've been just churned by the fucking media and the freaking PDFs. All for the fame. Gordon Lightfoot, attaboy. Wasn't Neil? He had a beef. That's right. Dude, Modern Day Cowboy, John, is one of my favorite songs by Tesla. It's a banger. I like that. I like Into the Now. I got their greatest hits, but yeah, Modern Day Cowboy is a kick-ass song. Jim King in the chat. Good to see you, brother. Here we are again on the radio. Tom Likas. Here's some trivia. Gilligan's Island. You got 5 seconds to look this to write it in if you know it. Don't look it up. Well, I'll tell you in 5 seconds. You won't have enough time to figure it out. That's a great riff. Always. William Shatner's Canadian. Yep. He did. That's for sure. Gilligan was not supposed to be the name, was supposed to be the last name of Gilligan on Gilligan's Island. What was his first name supposed to be? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Willie. He was supposed to be named Willie Gilligan. Willie Gilligan was supposed to be his name. Ted. John put Ted. William. Close, but no cigar. But yeah, old movie trivias, old TV trivias. Gilligan's Island. It was a great theme. I love Gilligan's Island. Bob, what was his name? Bob Denver. That dude was, he liked the MJ. He liked the grass. Apparently he got arrested in the 70s by the popo for having some grass in his house. And now it's all legalized, right? I miss cigarette smoke and steakhouse with endless shrimp for $2.99 and Gordon Lightfoot. Attaboy. You guys remember Skipper's? We had a Skipper's. Endless shrimp, seafood, fish and chips. Gidget was pretty hot. The chick on Barbara Eden was hot. Ginger. Ginger's like 90 years old now. I mean, she aged pretty damn well if you go look at her through the years. I don't know if Marianne's still alive, but I don't know. I had more of a crush on Marianne. Or no, excuse me, Ginger, not Marianne. I don't know. She seemed really, but then again, I was into, I had a poster of Morgan Fairchild and Farrah Fawcett when I was growing up. Maybe I was into mature women, cougars back then. I don't know. Mouth grew up on Skippers, attaboy. Tartar sauce and French fries with root beer. Dawn Wells did die. Tina Louise was hot with, oh, she was great in Gilligan's Island. With the plastic surgery, barf. Well said, Trog. Agent 99 on Get Smart gave me a rod every show. Attaboy. Did you guys ever watch Rescue 911? What was the rescue? Was it Rescue 911 or Rescue with the fireman show? They had some cute ladies on that one. Fall Guy. Mr. Steaks. Never been to that one. I miss the cafeterias the most. Those old ladies fed me like a king. Chicken fried steak and mashed potatoes and a roll and some Jell-O. And they probably loaded on that mashed potatoes. She was. I would agree with that statement. Rescue. What was it? I don't think it was Rescue 911. It might have been. You know what I'm talking about? The guy that was a rescue. It was called Rescue something with the fire engines. I like Chips too. Chips was great. Eric Estrada. Tuna stayed hot her whole life. She could have been a tuna. Karens can be alpha females too. Well said, Metal Gear. Well said, brother. It's probably because they're so angry because they got rejected. Good to see you, Metal. When I was 9, Garofalo made me like mature women. There was something different about her. I'll give you that. What is she up to now? She's got to be a total Karen. There's still one in Boise. There used to be one over here. I don't know if it's still around. Apparently, they're making a comeback. Well, Mouth. Suzanne Summers, Three's Company. Can you believe she died a couple years ago? And she was really healthy. She looked good for her age in her 60s and 70s. Taking the skin boat to Tuna Town. Like it. Drop anchor. The bitches Jack would date were sexy as blank. Yep. Back then they were beautiful. Now we long for those days. Well, they owned feminine. To be a feminine woman back in those days was something that women wanted to be. They don't want to be feminine anymore. They want to be Skittles and victim culture and crazy nut hair and weird shit in their face. They want, I don't know what they want. They're mentally ill. 3 genders that I think, male, female, and mentally ill. Someone asked me how many genders. No, 3 of them. Simple as that. She did look good. Mr. Steak. Man, it sounds good. Trog. I think Trog sums it up. No tattoos and attitude back then. Ain't that the truth? Women did not get tattoos back then. If they did, they weren't the type of woman that men wanted. They was the type of women that hung out at Mary's, in a night bar that sailors would visit. You know what I'm saying? And most of those women were older women with tattoos. Dan M7876, good to see you. Nampa is gone. I'd drive me through some Nampa and Caldwell and Star, Idaho, coming from Portland. That's a nice area, actually. Coming across the border. Janet was cute, girl next door. Yeah, she was the Marianne of that show. Absolutely. Who was the alpha widow in that show? Three's Company. Any alpha widows in popular TV shows? Knight Rider, maybe. But once somebody realizes what an alpha widow is and you're not her first choice and she's not in love with you, she's only in love with that archetype, physical man that left her hanging, rejected her, kept a mystery. I asked a gal one time, literally, we were on a date 8 years ago. And I said, are there any guys that you still remember? Tanya Roberts, there you go. Dennis Leary, rescue me. There you go. Maybe that's it. I said, well, are there any guys that you think about today that you wish you could have gone out with? She goes, yeah, there's this one guy that totally rejected me. 8 years later, 10 years later, I don't know how long it was, but she's still thinking about the guy that rejected her, Alpha Widow. I didn't know what it was back then, but we know what it is. Bailey's Quarters, attaboy, Trogue. Love Boat had some nice 304s. Every week it was a new batch. Fantasy Island. Yeah, back 20 years ago, it wasn't too bad. Meridian's become a shit show. That's for sure. Eagle was, we almost moved to Eagle back in 2003. Nice area in Eagle. Knight Rider, what a great show. I love the theme of Knight Rider. The chick from Night Court, attaboy. Arvero, good evening to you, brother. Hope you are well. Beware of these new right-wing blanks women. They reveal themselves eventually. Oh, they do. Remember, women don't want to be that classy, feminine woman that men truly would do anything for back then. And they knew it. There's no real difference between the operating system then than it was today. It was just it had commercials back then. It had breaks. It had seasons. But now there is no. It's constant female nature is every single minute. Judith Light, attaboy. Marquee Post. You guys are going old school. Smartest decision of my life was not getting married. Society has completely flipped since 1983. Well, if you go back enough to high school, especially Timmy and Boston and Plantation, maybe, RB. Myself, I graduated in 1990, but, I went through the 80s. Became a teenager in 1985. So I had 5 years between 13 and 18, 85 to 90 in the 80s. And it was a different world back then. Now you guys were older, in your 20s at that time, or just turning 20. You saw a different world. But there was something that women were much more tolerable back then. There were boyfriends and girlfriends. And I look today, there were lots of couples in high school that I went to high school with that got together in 10th grade and stayed boyfriend and girlfriend until their senior year. A lot of them went on and got married. This happens a little bit more in Utah just because of the Mormon culture. You'll see that. Lots of chicks and guys hook up in 9th, 10th grade, and then the guy goes on his Mormon mission, comes back and marries her. It happens all the time. And the chicks wait for him. Oh, I'm sure I have, Wolf. Sure. There's plenty of them. Absolutely. But I got in and got out, if you know what I mean, physically and literally and mentally. When I was a kid, I saw marriage as a business operation. It kind of sucked to me. Well, it is. It's a transaction for sure. It's transactional. And men and women both know this. Okay. What does a woman say? Oh, if you would help around the house and take care with the kids and I'll be more loving and intimate with you. Transaction. If you buy me this purse, I'll be more nice and loving and make dinner. Transaction. But isn't everything a transaction for the most part? It kind of sucks, but that's reality. That's female nature. You were 10 years old at that time. Wow. Way ahead. There were maybe 2 overweight girls in my old high school. And guess what, RB? They were invisible, weren't they? There were 2 there. I remember there's 2 or 3 really heavy chicks in high school. They didn't appear at any event. They hid. They went to school. They got to school early and left late. They did not want to be seen. And now they're on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And they're tapping those heavies. What a world. Now with social media, women are caught up in what they don't have, taking time bomb till she's unhappy. That's solid gold right there, Trogue. Well said. What's up with these pronouns of blank? It sounds blank. Well said. I don't want to report that or say that because you don't want the algorithm loves that. Graduated early 90s, already had my own apartment. At 17, my younger brother and sister were stealing my beer and cigs, and I tossed their TV set from a second-story window. You laid it down to Chinatown, Mac. 350, 2 or 3 porkers. My grad class was about 800. But yeah, were they invisible? I guarantee they were. My buddy married his high school cheerleader girlfriend. She left him 8 years later there you go. and he blew his head off. Gosh damn it. Two of my friends took their lives, deleted themselves back in high school based on a girl. And if you really think about it, 90% of incarcerated men revolve around a female. He could have been trying to impress her by by selling illegal substances or stealing from other people or hurting other people, or went and beat the boyfriend up or something. I would assume that most 90% of men incarcerated revolve around a female third party. Am I wrong? I don't think so. That's reality. These whole channels are all about your comments, your chats, to help men stay out of trouble. Literally, keep our noses clean. We have to know this stuff. This isn't anti-female. This is understanding that, guess what? It's real. Alpha widows are real. Women still crave the men that rejected them and that were mysterious. Know that going into anything. Well said. I think I had two friends whose parents were divorced out of 10, and I had no idea. He'd say, I got to go to my dad's house this weekend. What? Well, doesn't he live with your mom? Had no idea back then. You had one friend self-blank after he did his tour in the Army, and we did a lot of dumb shit together. He was fun as hell. Do you think that happened because of a woman or because of what he saw in the Army? But I feel bad. It hurts my heart to hear men take themselves out based on a divorce or a rejection from a woman or something like that. Wolf, bitches and booze. Well said. I couldn't agree with Terrence more than that. We did a collaboration, I don't know, 4 years ago. You should look it up. Good guy. Incarcerated product of single moms. And yeah, a woman revolves in that third party. Could be a single mom too. A lot of those men have single moms or weak beta male dads that disappeared, or beta males that didn't govern. I missed this one, gentleman. Good to see D-Man in the chat. OG wrench for me. Attaboy. Appreciate you being here. He does a lot of channels, hanging out with his boys. Yeah, he was already. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so maybe it was kind of a. I just heard from a friend last night that one of his friends was 48, and they just had the funeral for him last weekend. He had taken himself with a rope in the house. 4 kids. Luckily, the kids did not find him. The wife did. Apparently, had struggled for several years. Lost his job, was unhappy, physical ailments, and unfortunately, the wooden handrail and a piece of rope was that how he found apparently his peace. I don't know. It's very sad to hear that. Very sad. Yeah, there's 2 channels. I got my last channel back almost a year ago. The original one. That was when everyone's channels were coming back. Does For We Are Legion sound familiar? You know, you never know. You never know what's happening out there. That's why when I did this channel, when everything I went through, I wanted to hear stories. A lot of the creators helped me. Now, I never have been in that darkness, but I can't imagine what it would be like. But there were times I'd be sleeping at night saying, hey, you know what? If you want to take me out now, Mr. God, I'm okay with it. It sounds better than the bullshit I'm going through. And I think we've all been there. But truly getting to a place where you are in that darkness, I've never experienced. So rest in peace to all the brothers that have gone that way due to their environment or a breakup or a divorce or not being alienated from their kids or something. I heard that. I mean, it's happening all over. Even basketball, the professional skateboarder Mark Johnson. I don't know if Wolf knows this guy. He was very innovative. A couple weeks ago, took his life. apparently struggled for years with depression, addiction, grew up in a tough family. Maybe he didn't have the love of his mother. A lot of men look for the love of their mother in other women. And unfortunately, they don't find it. They do get triggered, Wolf, that's for sure. But that's reality. We help others understand this kind of stuff. I had to learn it. I had to figure out my life and understand where I went wrong, what I thought was real, what I thought was raised with. And you surely realize that men and women are different. Yes, Wolf, he did. You surely realize that men and women are different. And we have different ways of thinking, liking, loving, being around each other. Everything we learn from our parents about how to treat women is wrong. I'm not saying to go treat them opposite. I'm just saying the more nicer you are them, the more disrespectful they become to you. Women want men that are unavailable, that are on their purpose, that these men don't give a shit about them in terms of, you know what, I'm living my life. The moment you begin to care and want to be a provider and love that woman, that's when her monkey reptilian brain goes nuts. Well, if he loves me, that means he doesn't protect me because, he simple as that. They are the most damaged. Me too, Mac. I hung out with a couple gals that had bad daddy issues, and you can't fix them. You can't fix. They'll never be fixable. Therapy won't help. It's unfortunate. That all started in the womb and in their early years of life. Unfixable. Not even manageable. Stay away from a woman. The best thing you could do if you went on a date, if you're interested in that, you ask them how their relationship with the daddy is. If they're like, I hate him, he's terrible, he was a deadbeat, beat it. Get up right then and there. If she says, I love my daddy, I respected him, I always listened to him, I always want to show him I'm daddy's girl, great. But even then, they can have challenges too. Again, female nature, male nature. I think we'd all be there, RB. It happened to me. Popo came twice. 4 of them. The crappy stuff you experienced as a kid from your mom comes back in spades later in life. Well said. It is so important to have a mother that's not your friend, that will teach you certain things and love you. Now, when the boy gets to be 13 and going through puberty, he needs his father. And while your young girl is going through that, she needs her mother. And hopefully mother and father are on the same page of both being a mother and father. But nowadays, the mother is the best friend. And when you're a best friend to your daughter, she can do anything she wants because you're too afraid of losing her validation. And so you'll let her run and be a 304 and let her drink alcohol and let her stay out late and get friggin' railroaded by the 12th grade basketball team. It's very sad when people self-delete. Warrior, good to see Wes all the way over in Europe. Good to see you, brother. Keep sending your pictures my way. Hope you are well. Wes left and took a job over in Europe, and he's been seeing everything and growing. Check out his channel. D-Man, throw Wes's channel up if you would. He's got some good shorts. Get him a couple more subscribers. Good kid. My oldest son graduates high school in 15 days. So proud of him. Attaboy. My youngest has turned 21 in 3 weeks. He was the one that him and I are tight. And it's like you love seeing them move forward, but you kind of miss those days, when they were with you all the time and they wanted to hang out and skateboard and go to the bike park or whatever. But, they're in their 20s. They should be doing what 21-year-olds should be doing, having relationships maybe, or understanding them, working, going to school, hanging out with their bros. That is brutal. Yeah, there's an idea. I think Kim Kardashian is an alpha widow. Kanye couldn't keep up with it. I did, D-Man, absolutely. You got to take what's given to you and Have a theme. Don't give in. Let them give in. They eventually will. Jiu-jitsu, that's right. You are doing that. Attaboy. Thank you, D-Man, for putting up Wes's channel. Sub out if you're not sub to it. Good stuff. Your ex is an alpha widow, sounds like, huh, Wolf? She likes the salami. Send a salami to the boy in the army. Yeah, appreciate that, D-Man. All 3 of my kids got scholarships for college. None went. Mine did too. Mine did all the APs. The older 2 are graduated, and the youngest is the pilot who just passed all of his commercial FDA. He's on his 4th leg right now doing the big engine stuff. He'll be flying within a year and 2 months. He'll be a first captain at 22. Proud of him. There's nothing more than being proud of your kids, that are respectful. The celebrity men be dating the same way. Yeah, they pass them around, don't they? They pass those women around like peas and carrots. I think younger boys should have the father present by at least 21 when the cutoff is 18. I would agree. That's why I've stuck around I'm glad the house didn't sell 2 years ago, because I needed to be around. I needed to be around my sons. At 19, I was in a South American country. But when they were 19, it's a different world. Number 1, I wasn't from a divorced family. Number 2, I was raised very independent, with an alpha male dad and a very submissive, loving mother. My youngest was raised half of his life in a divorced family. So I needed to be around. But now I know that life is good. She was a rich biatch who used her mental illness to get what she wanted and get away with it. They all do. When people say this is a gynocentric world, they're not lying. They're not lying. The Bible, in a lot of ways, is gynocentric. With Adam and Eve. Eve ran the shots. She called the shots. Down the road, and you get to Paul and the Corinthians, and he tells you about ladies or whatever, but, it is what it is. People say, oh, Rad doesn't like ladies. I love women. Are you kidding me? I love their bodies. I love their skin. But you have to be smart upstairs. I've already done the marriage. I've had girlfriends. I see it. And again, I've always said I'm not a monk. But yet I'm never living with a woman, getting married, being in that goofy world. Literally, for me, it's like 4 to 6 weeks. There have been some that have gone a little bit longer. And there's some good women out there. But I know the risks and the rewards, and and as I get older and older, the less I want to be around nagging women. And unfortunately, they're getting older too, right? Great song. She's a rich girl. Did you know Hall & Oates are in a beef too? They hate each other now too. Probably over a woman and money. A lot of these Skittles and these whacked out liberals do not have a strong father figure. In fact, I was watching this YouTube about how the toxic, they've tried to put more estrogen in the water to make men wimpier and simpier. Why do you think video games are so popular? They want low testosterone so the women run. So the men become literally emasculated. But you're seeing a movement now with the young 18 to 30-year-old men that are literally living in masculine. That's one thing. I'm not a Tate fan. I'm not a Tate fan at all. Okay? He's a flexor. However, he has introduced masculinity again. Now, again, I'm not a fan of him. And he could be a complete psyop. But a lot of young men are listening to his masculine message. So maybe that'll have some payoff. Okay. Was dope staying in $1 million home in Santa Fe, though. There you go. I still am attracted to women, just no longer want to fight them to keep them in. Yeah, if you're trying to be in a relationship and love a woman, that is not the right that's quicksand. Okay, you're going to have a little bit of time to enjoy it, then you're sinking, and there's no way out. So you have to understand what you're getting into. You literally, the idea is to know this. I'm dealing with an alpha widow. I only want one thing, maybe some intimacy. Maybe just to hang out with a female lady, just for a night, whatever. Great. Know that she's just your turn. And maybe it'll work for that 1 or 2 throws. And then you move on. And if you also think that most women are 5-year-olds with breasts, you're not going to invest a lot into them. Now, if you find someone that's a 1 to 2%, you can do the Jonathan Noble way. Separate houses, separate resources, separate friends. You come together once or twice a week, grill, go on a stroll around the lake, get in and get out. And I mean that physically, literally, financially, mentally, and emotionally. There are people that do that. I'm not saying to do that. I'm saying if you found a 1 to 2%er, but you're still going to deal with that woman becoming more and more attached. So that's kind of at the end, it's kind of a cement dead end if you think about it, because the women will get attached too. Well said, Trogue. It's a lot of these dual singer types that, I mean, look at the Beatles. They broke up too. They didn't break up when John Lennon was shot. They broke up before that. 2 singers. Bookshelf in the chat. Good to see you, brother. Hope you are well. It's been a while. Bookshelf's been around for a while. The only thing Tate is right about is the men and women dynamic, though. I saw Hammer and Chronic expose him for being Poles. Ooh. Well, there you go. And he did talk about the Transformers, too. And which you do not get with no Transformer. And there are Transformers that can bamboozle. I can pick them out anytime. I've seen them walking around, but there are some that men have. Well, Tone Loc sings about it in his song "Funky Cole Medina" or "Wild Thing." But you can tell the energy of a masculine person, regardless if they're wearing a costume. I have no energy left to explain and justify. Well said, Arvero. And a lot of guys are like that, and we love our monks. There's a lot of monks out there. There's nothing wrong with that. Most likely, I'll probably be a monk down the road, too. Jonathan Noble, attaboy. After Lennon died, McCartney wanted to change from Lennon and McCartney writing credits. Yep. I do like the old Lennon or the Beatles theory about Paul McCartney dying and putting him in. What was his name? Billy Shears. Billy Shears was the original, and Paul McCartney basically became him. Go look up the conspiracy of Paul McCartney's death. Just have fun, vet him. There you go. The problem with that, if you hang out with a woman for a long time and you're giving her the salami sandwich, she's going to run feelings for you. So then you start getting locked into something that maybe you don't want. And it becomes, Wolf, you've been nailing that one chick that's above you for the last little bit. They begin to grow feelings for you, and then they start putting their claws in you and wanting to be around you more and spending more and meeting your friends and all that stuff. See, it's kind of, in the end, the best theory. That whole side benefit thing, I've done that before, and women would be like, yeah, I just want, just once a month, if you're into it, I'm great, it works perfect for me. And then they're like, well, I want to go to dinner now. I want you to take me to dinner. I want to go for drinks. So it'll always go that route. They want to spend more and more time. That's the problem with the Jonathan Noble way. He was an early poet. My favorite Beatles songs are when John Lennon sings. Can't Buy Me Love is my favorite Beatles song of all time. John Lennon sings that one. Wasn't a big fan of Paul McCartney singing. Abbey Road cover. He had no shoes. Well said. Go look at that conspiracy. I believe that the dude died. I think it's a complete conspiracy. Paul McCartney is not Billy Shears. or Billy, whatever, who I'm getting my wires mixed up, but it was what it is. Becoming monk equals opting out when no viable solutions are visible. Well said, brother. And that seems more apparent more and more each day. Yeah, we know you're still banging that. I don't know. Is she Peruvian or something? I can't remember. Lennon did some of my favorite cover. I thought Lennon's voice was terrific. To me, he's the Beatles. Now, a lot of my friends are like, Paul McCartney's the Beatles. Well, I'm a Lennon guy. You can't win a rigged game. Ain't that the truth? Yeah, that was weird with the Yoko Ono thing, too. 98% choose to live in Eve. Well said. Look what happened to Eve. She ate of the fruit. She disobeyed. She was disrespectful to Adam. She convinced him and you know the word? She didn't trick him. She beguiled Adam to eat of the fruit. Look up the word beguiled. It's even worse than trick. Do you think Eve was given the box up back in the garden, or banana goblin? Chuck Berry turned her mic off. Attaboy. Well, I'm glad he did that, man. I mean, that Yoko Ono's whacked. Again, the start. Think about when he got with Yoko Ono. That was the start of the total like Karen movement. She was a Karen, one of the original Karens, doing that shit. That's it. I just coined it. Yoko Ono is the original Karen. Unless anyone's have got a worse Karen than that. Chuck Berry was great. Well, gents, this has been a great stream. Appreciate all the comments. You guys are great. Know what you're getting into. Know who you are and what your male programming is, and understand that female program can run you for a loop that you can't get out of if you get the wrong one. Want to be with the wrong one. Yeah, she did destroy the Beatles. I think they were thinking of a comeback, but there was a breakup. You got with her, whatever. He was simped for her too. Yep. With that being said, I'm out. You guys have a great week. We'll see you on the next one. Peace, quiet, and freedom for 300 Trebek. I'm out.